Hello folks, Bobo here again. This time around, this is German version of Highlander, which is basically like Commander but without the general. So the format has its own ban list. You don't really have the most broken cards that you can actually use in normal Commander. And yeah, you don't have the general, and also the format is designed more for one-on-one play, and it's more like playing Legacy with a few vintage cards, and some broken things are banned, but some of the crazy things are still allowed, like for example, Mishra's Workshops. So some of the cool vintage cards can be used here. And yeah, it's a fun format. It still differs from the French Commander because this is not actually Commander, this is just a singleton format. But anyways, if we're going through definitions, then, well, all of the formats mentioned before this are technically Highlander formats at a singleton lens. So, and as for the decks used here, that's Naya Zoo. So your typical, Kyridape kind of deck, mashed up with a bunch of, sweet cards in those colors. But trying to stay aggressive, stay proactive, and so on. And I'm on the, Abzan combos deck. Basically creature-based singleton deck with all your Melira Vizier company style stuff, everything that can be searched up with the core, the calling, and a bunch of other things. But in this format, Proving Pod is banned because then people will play decks like this, and it will be a bit way too consistent. And Nature Order is also banned in this format. I think Crimson Zenith, and what else? Summoner's Pact are still allowed. Um, but I think I just traded those off. And it's not like you have to run them, but you want to make sure that you have enough of tutors and ways to dig. But here I tried to go extreme, I think. I just cut a bunch of dig spells and tutors to the minimum. I'm just hoping to naturally draw stuff because a lot of pieces are actually, interchangeable, and they function in different combos. Um, yeah. For example, Devoted Druid can support the Vizier Remedies, can actually help to go off with Necroticus and stuff like that. So there are a bunch of things to say it does, but in this match it was actually misbuilded, and the land count was terrible, and even though you're allowed to go more than 100 cards, but I think I accidentally overdid this. But yeah, in the second match, in another video, like those kind of nuances will be fixed, and yeah. Um, but it's funny to say that here I had much better draws, but once I actually fixed the decks so that the proportions for lands and for other factors have been, smoothened out, but my draws were like much worse. But you'll see it for yourself. So I think the matchup is pretty darn close, and luckily his zoo deck is not super interactive, but it definitely punishes clunky draws for sure. Uh, his deck is super consistent and super reactive, uh, but if you are playing some fluid control type of deck and you draw mass removal in time, things like that, then you can definitely bounce back, but it's just not, it's not only about killing the first wave, but you need to, stay in the game after that. Not just be like at free life and just die to a haste creature or a burn spell or something like that, but you need to still try some ways to get out of this. So the starting life total is 20. Um, I think in French Commander, that's what it is as well right now. It used to be 30, and then they changed it to 20, and I think they still kept it this way, just to make the games a bit more dynamic. Because when it's one-on-one, it makes sense to not drag out the games for too long. And thankfully now the prohibited in French Commander, for example, that's Black Red Goblin that just did abysmal things with Force of Will and Fire Blast and stuff like that. Um, yeah. And you can go more like to Value Town with Abzan. You can go with the Carrion Feeder, Hulk, Karmic Guide kind of chains. There are a bunch of ways you can build a deck. I think I flooded the deck a little bit too much with the combos. There are probably way too many of them. Okay, the action is gonna start soon, don't worry. But I wanted to, give you all those explanations. Um, Also, this way you'll know the background, but at the same time you're gonna be able to finish up whatever you were doing. But kind of prepare your mindset to watch this and um, know why this and that and what to expect and so on. And the way we both built our decks too. So they're not really net decks. It's pretty hard for Commander or Highlander to actually net deck because none of those formats are really that solved. People just play what they want, what they have, what they enjoy, what they like, what they know how to play. So it's fair to say that blue-white's control decks or some blue-red tempo decks are safe deck choices in all of those singleton formats. Okay, a bunch of good stuff including a noble, but you know, nothing to actually cast because simply no lands. But at the same time, this Abzan deck, the curve in it is pretty damn low, so running too much ramp and too many mana dorks has some risks, but I think I've got a few too many of them. And even though there is a big package for Necroticus in the deck, and I have some graveyard dependent synergies and combos, but deck doesn't really focus on them. So while normally because of weakness and the Proton Hulk chain, you might want Demolge and Satyr Wayfinder in the deck just to dump the deck and then maybe play some reanimation spells or something like that on Burial Rites, for example. But I don't think you should focus on that because of the Vizier from Amonkhet and some other combos. You just don't really have to rely on the graveyard based combos and stuff like that, and you can fill up those extra slots with more digging and more tutors. Yeah. And the point is that since I don't really regularly play those formats, I traded away a lot of cards that would have been very useful in this deck. So, yeah. But we were pretty eager to play this format. I mean, my friend was. I believe that's Figure of Destiny off of Savannah. I fetched up on the turn Overgrown Tomb. And yeah, in this format and in all the dual versions, like French Commander, for example, which is sometimes just called Dual Commander. Fast aggressive for tempo X. Do you come into the picture? And yeah, not running all duels might bite you really hard. So really not happy with the fact that I just took a bunch of spare parts from my binders and then took my modern deck apart, and voila, I had this Highlander deck. Okay, figure destiny attack just for one, force into Galactic. That could be, problematic after all. I still, I think, kept Galactic Company in the deck even though it is not at its best, and because I was thinking that graveyard digging and those kind of cantrips, cantrips, just digging spells would still make sense in the deck, so this is why you see me casting now Grizzly Salvage. Um, well, it digs for 5, essentially, which is pretty good, but on the other hand, I think just running more tutors would have been way more, and then maybe even altering the deck to an extent that um, Glimpse of Nature would be actually serviceable. Tillen Satyr, uh, Vizier, I mean not Vizier, but oh, I forgot the name of the 4/6 that can, tutor up things when you hit creatures. Gosh, I forgot. Well, you probably know the card. It's kind of a staple in those formats. And then there was Cryptolite Rift, and I just took the land. Because if I keep on making land drops to a certain point and produce ways to stem the bleed and then try to go off, I'm actually in good shape. Horizon Canopy is also is not really ideal here. It gives me access to white mana, but then, well, it's kind of like having a brushland. Even the worst, you can't even use the colorless mana, so it always hurts you. So I'm already down to 16. Luckily, it's not like he started off with a loam line or Kiride into more aggressive 2-drop, even just a Witch Wolf. But Galactic does kind of, limit my options what to do. I'm trying to remember what 3-drop he cast here. Ah, yeah, that's Talia, which is really annoying here. Talia is not really done crazy. Okay, the Wayfinder comes into play. No, I took Wayfinder, it seems. Okay, so last time with the Salvage I took the Wayfinder, which found just one land, and it's the Verdant Catacombs that comes into play tapped as well. Yeah. The previous turn I played the Dauntless Escort. It's basically like a Selfless Spirit, but it's a 3/3 body for 3 mana, without flying though. But the point is that it still doesn't really block Talia, because of First Strike. It's the 3 mana Talia, the one that, hinders creatures and lands kind of setup instead of spells. Okay, if he fetches up, there is a scenario where I can try to, just attack back, but currently I'm kinda hindered. Not sure why he doesn't fetch up, all duels here. Maybe he has a Magus. Oh yeah, uh, I, yeah, I think he has Magus of the Moon in hand. That's why he did that. Okay, here's a Natural Reliquary, and it's not Green Mancer. I think it's Cured Ape. I think it's Cured Ape. So his board presence is really crazy here. So he can do a lot of stuff here. And I don't really have good blocks. Well, Escort, don't does Escort stops his figure destiny kind of, or Tig from attacking, but Knight Relic really is already a 4-4, and I'm kind of scared of stuff like Castle Wolf Run, so that basically might do some annoying things. And then I think I was trying to plan for Necroticus like combo of setup in 2 turns or something like that, but I was afraid that he would have gone um, getting Bashuka block with the Knight Reliquary, but he's a Naya deck, and um, you know, it's not Commander, so you don't have those typical limitations which are, binded to the colors of your general and stuff like that, so you don't have that going. I can fetch a basic here. It would come untapped, at least. So I'm going to 10 here, I think. I have to hope that he attacks or taps out the Knight Reliquary, but as we'll later figure out, he didn't actually have it in their deck, but because he's more of a zoo deck and not really mid-range. In mid-range, if you even don't have use for black mana, then still I think it's worth it, because of things like Life from the Loam and stuff like that. See, I'm supposed to probably fetch a basic here because I need that mana. Not sure. Okay. I fetched up another forest because, well, it's very rare that I would need additional color of those. And then all the Rich Evolution eating the Satire to get Necroticus out, and so I haven't used the canopy, so I'm just trying to figure out my blocks next turn. And see how it goes. Whether I can survive next turn. But that's my only hope. That's my only hope. I can put like Necroticus in front of Galactic, for example, and then just throw the Dauntless Escort in front of anything big. I think I already have Devoted Druid in my graveyard, I think. So that part is already there. And I think you probably know what's my plan here. He had a creature heavy hand, and he's starting to run out of gas, but I don't know. Well, he can't use that forest, for example, like to put Figure of Destiny. He can still make it as a 2-2, but that doesn't really matter. And then he can find a Wolf Run with the Knight, but I don't think it's lethal, and I actually don't need to do a whole lot next turn. So, oh yeah, the Necrotic comes into play tapped, so yeah, we've just 12 left to operate with. I'm in a very tough spot. He can kind of Alpha Strike here, but I didn't know his hand at that point. Don't think it contained any burn spells. He would just try to, burn down the escort and try to get free with the team for lethal damage. But then this untapped Horizon Canopy can represent a lot of things like Condemned, for example. So he kind of has to play around that. And Path to Exile perhaps too. So yeah, those cards are, spot removal is typically not great in Commander, for example. But when you play one-on-one, so things like Fatal Push and all the discard spells are good. Oh, not all of them, but most of them. He attacked only with Talia, and didn't he just cast the, I think, Magus of the Moon? Okay, he ate a land with the Knight, so kind of ramping a little. I think that's Magus of the Moon. I know he didn't use the Knight yet, sir. But I'm commenting on this game and matchup before. Oh yeah, that was Eldon Brisk Call for Magus of the Moon, and Call puts it into your hand, right? So fetch a creature from the deck into your hand, right? And yeah, now he's going up 1 mana because of the Knight, so I guess he just didn't have the 5th land to do all this without. Okay, so he's gonna get us. Okay, he fetched the basic, just to, not hinder his own options with the Magus. So yeah, Magus came down, but he already attacked, already took the damage. I'm at 9. It's all good. So he tapped out his Knight Reliquary, so I'm feeling okay. And I'm gonna have a combo next turn anyway. But it's gonna happen soon. Was it like I already had? Yeah, okay, I already had, I think, Lot Left Troll in my graveyard. Yeah, and I just discarded Green Puppet, and I already had Devoted Druid there too. So I clear his board because it works like that. Oh yeah, so he's just not gonna have this plus counter from the discarding creatures, because I'll be going for the motions, because the counters will cancel each other. So the criticals shouldn't have any counters on it basically. Because, well, unless it could have minus counters, but it wouldn't have any plus counters when I would go through the motions. So the point is that with Water Druid you put a minus counter to untap it, and the Necrotic impersonates everything from all the abilities from the graveyard. And then I had Green Puppet, which says that you can move a minus counter from a creature to, well, from Green Puppet to, move it onto a target creature. So this is why his board has been wiped here. Basically, yeah, and it will continue to be so while Uz is still there, and with Dauntless Escort still there also. That means removal. Spot removal doesn't cut it, and I'm at a relatively high life total. Well, he's at 18, so I think I have an upper game here. So I'm just thinking like how much I can attack for. I can discard a few more creatures to make those a bit bigger in this combat. Things like that. Okay, Fetid Heave, that's the black-white filter land. But yeah, probably wouldn't play it in the deck in that configuration, unless I would get those old duels in here. But yeah, I don't want to get all the Abzan old duels just for Commander or Highlander, because I'm not gonna need them for Legacy. In Legacy I get Eldrazi's, Implored Delver, and Infect. Okay, so here's a Blood Artist that basically means that not gonna die from burns, I guess. And the 3 mana artifact that says that upkeep I get to scry. And then when I play a creature, I can play 1 extra green and draw a card. So I just attack for 7 and he's at 11, but there are very few things that matter here. Okay, I think he probably went like Reclamation Sage or something, killing the my artifact, but that's fine. And then the good part is that this is not Cutthroat, that's Blood Artist that triggers off of any creature that dies. So yeah, I'm in a pretty good shape here, and I don't think he can come back into this. Okay, discarding creatures to use that impersonates the troll. Then I'm casting this weird instant card that says like choose a permanent type and then return all of that type back to your hand, that it has flashback for 7. And yeah, the goofy part is that I actually had to return the troll, and I had to return the combo. This means that I couldn't kill his creatures, but I'm at 9, and I can sacrifice Asgard like to get an extra life, and then even though I can't combo now, only next turn when I'd have to basically hardcast a lot left troll. But he's at 2, and just a couple triggers from Blood Artist already kill him, so the game is done. He did a lot of things, but yeah. I think like if I would just be in almost any like control deck with sweepers and I would randomly draw a sweeper, he would probably also be in a rough shape. But that Magus of the Moon could have gotten me if I was some mid-ranger control. Potentially. Not necessarily, because then there could have been some instant speed removal or counterspell or something like that. So I can redraw with Canopy, but I don't need to really, because he's at 4 and I just need to, do a few things here. Like cast a troll and then dump the druid and green puppets and clear the blockers and just attack with the guys, so that's enough. That's enough. So in a very short bit we're moving to the next game. He packs it in because, well, he probably might have something like Armageddon in his deck, or at least he should. This is one of the reasons to play this kind of decks in this format. But I suppose he doesn't pack Wrath of Gods or anything like that. There could be a bonfire, for example. That's probably it. That's probably it. Okay, game number 2 of this first match between the two decks. And second one probably coming to you tomorrow or something like that. Yeah, so I'm supposed to have Eladon Recall, Demonic Tutor, Worldly Tutor. Vamp Tutor is banned, but I think it's on the revised list, kind of. Well, I mean on the list for revision for potential unban, I guess. What's been happening? So yeah, you should just you can browse the banned lists for this format easily. Just type Highlander. I think Stoneforge Mystic was on and off journey. I think they unbanned it for a while, and then they had to ban it again or something like that. It's been weird. Oh, okay, the top is banned because, well, uh, it's not just the card is broken, it just extends the games and the matches so much, and all that shuffling just doesn't constitute a good experience. That probably was uh, something like that because you it's not as good as it was like in Legacy Miracles with counterbalance and stuff. I think the reasons were a bit different for this format compared to Legacy. Had to mulligan here, and yeah, I had appropriate amount of lands in the deck, but the problem is that I had way more than 100, which is the standard for this format. In Commander, it's 99 plus the actual general, so it's also kind of 100, even though your main deck is technically 99. But in Highlander, it's not only 100 as a standard, but you can actually go like 102, 104 if your deck is full of tutors and you want a bigger toolbox and just more options, things like that. Or let's say your deck is controlish and, well, you're never gonna technically deck out, I guess. But yeah, I think it's more about tutors and the fact that you just maybe like some cards really a lot and just want to keep playing with them, things like that. And there are some scape shifts, brain to light type of decks in this format too, for instance. Yeah, I think I went for a 3-1 to 7. There's no poker mulligan in this format, that's for sure. So there used to be, but not anymore, and it's just a 3-1 to 7. So now I'm going down to 6, which is not amazing. Not amazing. And because there is no poker mulligan for a while now, I think, in Highlander, um, blue as a color in the game in this format has been very important because of all the ponders and brainstorms and stuff like that. Those are all still legal. They have to, because you can only play one copy of each, and you want to play them all, just because how sometimes random and inconsistency your draws might get. Uh, yeah, going back down to 5. I think it was a one lander without any ramp or just a non-green land, something like that. So let's see what's gonna happen here. So now I'm going down to 5, I think, but I'm on the draw. Still get to scry, and I have a bunch of combos in the deck, so that helps when you're down so many cards. Well, not too many though, but yeah. But if he has a pretty aggressive fast draw, it's gonna be really challenging. That is for sure. And yeah, I'm glad John Fireball like basically drastically improved the quality of the sleeves because there's so much shuffling in this format, just a crazy amount of shuffling. That's why most people like prefer some matte dragon shields and durable, but at the same time not super hard like sleeves because it's just so much shuffling between the mulligans, the fat chase, and tutors. and so on. And just because it's also like a 100 card deck, so it's harder to shuffle than 60 card deck constructed deck. Okay, just a tip Temple Garden. That's a bit of a relief. Don't remember if I script top or bottom, but what else? Okay, that's some random creature to drop. I don't exactly. Oh yeah, that's the Celestial Guildmage from Veronica City of Guilds from the first Veronica block. My turn is just a cat probe, which is not great, and that's not really great. It's his turn 3. Yeah, I think his deck was double sleeved, and even if you have good light set up for the recording, the double sleeves basically always gonna produce some glare. I'm not sure exactly what free drop was that. What could have he cast? He just played a mountain now, so it can be a red creature for sure. Maybe after YouTube like fixing of the light in post production, sort of, that'll be a bit clearer. Okay, I think he went for Stone Rain kind of thing. And destroy my black source. Okay. Witness for what? For Stone Rain or something? And just adding more stuff to the board. Ah yeah, that's Kataki. That's Kataki that he just played this turn. But the previous one, I'm not sure what it was. I'm already down to 8. He's been destroying my lands, and I think he just witnessed for the Stone Rain, so yeah, I'm out of this game pretty much. It's not like I had any package with the O's going on, or the normal Melira things kind of stuff going on. Okay, Lily has the um, if I had some like bio in my deck, maybe I would be able to do something, but it's probably not because I had the green red fetch. I'll have to take some damage to get a black source, and then it doesn't matter that Lily has lifelink, so yeah. So what can I say? The deck needs a few more tutors, a bit more ramp, and a bit more removal. Just smoothing down, maybe cutting some of the combos. Things like that. I don't think that the deck needs things like Mulch or Wayfinder. But yeah. I think Sylvain Safekeeper would be pretty good in this deck, I suppose, when you play against mid-range with a lot of removal, because, okay, Selfless is good, the Square is good, Spell Scout is good, but I think the deck also needs Safekeeper, things like that, maybe a Blossoming Defense as well. The need of that wasn't really clear in this match, but yeah. Okay, here now I'm just like counting my deck, just trying to figure out how much overboard, over 100 I went. But yeah, there was a lot, and that's why I've been like screwed so much, quite often. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Watch out for the second part of this matchup. It's simple, but at the same time complex, and I think it's interesting. It's just that a lot can be done with both decks and the way it's played out. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Check the links in the description below. And yeah, until the next sale, goodbye, folks.